Are you trying to solve this problem, Kate, or are you just standing there?
I'm trying to help.
Okay.
I assume you've looked at your audio settings?
There are no audio settings in YouTube whatsoever.
There's no settings.
There is mute or not mute, and that's it.
Yep.
That's weird.
There's also no video settings.
That's weird.
There's nothing.
That's
It's,
weird.
Yeah.
It's less than ideal.
So, I mean, well, I've started a third stream.
Mm-hmm. We're distributing the links.
One person said that they literally unplugged and replugged in their camera.
I've switched it back to the laptop
Okay.
and just completely unplugged the webcam in case that was the issue. The question is, so Constantina says it's better. Okay.
Constantia.
Constantia. God, it's too many N's. I'm sorry. And I think there was a fourth.
It was your page, my page, the event, and West Kingdom.
So I've got yours. I've got West Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
How about this one? Okay, I've got that one. Maybe it's the one on my page I don't have. No, apparently I just did all of them.
That's the one from mine.
Oh, it is.
Because I tagged you.
You're right. No, apparently I got that one too.
Okay, I guess
Right.
you did all of
So
them.
who knows? I need a drink.
Would you like a cider?
Sure.
Okay.
Not really. All right. Welcome to Heraldic Hijinks.
Take 3!
Yay, I'm Keen.
I'm Asa.
And this might work. We'll see. So we got? We've got Constantia. We've got 2 other people now.
Mm-hmm.
We'll wait a couple minutes
Mhm.
to see if we can trickle some people back in. Thanks. Can you also refill with water?
This?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
there's also this picture.
Oh,
Of water?
yes. Thank you. This beautiful orangutan picture that I will endeavor
love it.
not to spill everywhere.
All right. Yay! Constantia is using the skull mug I got her.
Nice. That's not bad.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Oh, let me actually grab the link and give it to one more person because we're in chat right now. Okay. And boop.
So no Constantia's here. I don't know who the other 3 people in the feed are.
So, everyone who's watching, if you could let us know in the feed who you are, just quick wave hi.
I don't seem to be able to see who's. Did we do this via Facebook last time, or was it YouTube last time? I don't remember.
YouTube last time. It was Facebook
Okay.
the first time.
Okay.
There's people who are logged into their YouTube accounts, presumably.
Yes, we did know that. Okay, well, I guess that.
All right.
Yay, the audio is finally okay.
And Maxon.
Thanks.
Take 3.
Okay, 5 viewers is probably enough to get started.
Yeah.
So this is Heraldic Hijinks, and we are going to talk about heraldry for people who can't draw.
So your new best friend
Hybrid.
is the ruler.
Yes, and despite me being the one who can't draw, Kate and Asa did some drawings with rulers to show off some of the things that can be done. Kate has them. That's what's going on.
Hi. Sorry.
I was looking around for like, you guys did all these things. Where'd
Yes,
they go?
we colored them in.
Yes.
Kate is finishing coloring them in.
Yes. To give you an idea of the kind of things that can be done with absolutely no artistic talent.
So that if that's a concern for you, you know that you don't have to worry about it. Look at all this geometric good stuff.
Many of them just involve straight lines.
And for the ones that involve a curve, the edge of a glass is great. Just like maybe not with a permanent marker.
The really cool tea-looking thing under my finger is a chief pail, which is totally a period thing, I think.
Yep. Well, Bruce says it is in the...
And Bruce is always right.
Because I was looking at the list of ordinaries in the ever-fabulous Pictorial Dictionary of Heraldry.
Let me look at how many chief pails there are out there.
Ooh.
Is it hyphenated?
I believe it is, yes.
There are 5 of them.
5.
Just in case you wanted one of those neat things. There was one registered in 2018, another one in 2018, 2019, 2017, and then the Outlier way back in 2008. And it specifically says a chief pail has a difference from a pail and is substantially different from any other ordinary. So you do have to conflict check against pails. But,
that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it gets a difference from all of them. Yeah. So just in case you really want the letter T, that's super easy, and there's a lot of design space available out there. When I talk about design space, I'm talking about kind of the number of things that haven't been registered. There's an awful lot of dragons out there.
So there's not a whole load of design space if you want dragons. You can still get something with dragons.
You totally can. There's lots of available dragons out there. It's just a somewhat crowded design space. But for chief pails, it's wide open.
There are 5.
And it's super easy to draw.
And that is what we're here for. So in addition to, so those are called peripheral ordinaries, except the chief pail is sort of a hybrid of a central and a peripheral. Central means it's got a bit that goes through the center. Peripheral means it's around the periphery. And so this one's sort of a weird hybrid. The rest of these are peripherals.
This one's a gore.
Flanches. And one of my personal favorites actually is the oral.
Which follows the edge of the field, right?
It follows the edge of the field just like a bordier does, but it's inset. The other cool thing about an oral is that you can do an oral of things, and they can still be things that are easy to draw.
You have an oral of delphs.
You could have an oral of delphs.
A delph is a square.
An oral of Delphi.
Oh, I like it. A delph is a square, and apparently, according to the heraldic sources, it's an abstract shovel full of dirt.
Yep.
But it's really literally just a square.
It's a square.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I forgot to put on this list. Well, I've got a billet on there.
Which is close. In the upper right is a billet, and a delph is just a square.
It's a square
Version of the same. I'm very much amused that you've got the gore on this one, and you've got the crescent on the other one, and if you throw that crescent onto the gore, you get Duke Mansour. It's actually not on the gore; it's just in the rest of the field.
Yes.
But that's his device. It's gore and crescent.
Nice.
Might be a sinister gore. I don't remember.
Let's see. Oh,
We are home, Constantia. How does conflict checking for an oral of things work? Does it count as an oral? Does it count as semi of things?
That is an excellent question.
I don't know. It is totally a period thing, though. I've seen them in designs.
Constantia says check for both.
Check for both. All right. Thank you.
That makes a lot of sense.
If you want to show off my project,
Some of this was inspired by Catherine making designs to see if she wants something for a badge. She's got a lovely device. It has a goat on it and is somewhat complex to draw each time. So she has frequently done designs on boxes and things that don't have the goat but have the general color pattern, which is ermine noir, azure, and vert.
Yep.
And so she put together a bunch of designs that include those things. And you can see the two top ones that aren't chevrons.
Those are Delphs.
Are Delphs. An ermine noir Delph. And don't steal any of these because she is actually going to submit at least one of them. But the whole top row is clear as far as I can tell.
I really like this one, the Chevronelli one.
And
not planning on registering the Chevronelli one.
yeah, if you want the Chevronelli one, go right ahead.
Or some variant.
Yes, or some variant thereof.
You probably don't want the ermine spots if you're getting geometric heraldry to make it easy to draw. Pro tip.
True. Ermine spots aren't necessarily hard to draw. They're just a little bit tedious.
They're a pain in the butt.
Let's see.
The second row on the right, this one is actually the only one that has a conflict. The one with the codices on the left is clear, but the one on the right is not.
Not for long.
Yes, and I didn't actually conflict check anything on the bottom because I got distracted. The Freddy one is super cool. Yes.
That Freddy is actually per pale vert and azure.
Azure and vert.
Actually had that backwards. So this half is blue and this half is green,
which I think shows up on the monitor. It's a little bit hard to tell.
It is a little bit hard to tell. They're two very similar colors.
So at any rate, the point of this is look at all these really neat, colorful, interesting designs that are all really easy to draw. For pretty much all of them, all you need is a ruler and the ability to draw ermine spots. But, that's not that big of a deal.
And willingness to draw ermine spots.
Yes, willingness to draw ermine spots.
That is bigger.
Is a big deal. However, I believe
fixed by doing something other than ermine noir.
Yes, but also I believe you can buy ermine spot stamps.
Oh, I would be surprised if you couldn't.
Right. So if you're doing various kinds of fabric painting or other decoration, just like stamp it. Yeah.
Stamp it good.
And some of these things are field only, field primary, which means they have no primary charge on them. And the rules for those are a little bit different than for other things. And so if you're trying to register one, you will frequently run into heralds who get this kind of panicked look on their face.
Because the rules are a little different for field primary. That doesn't mean that it's not a great idea to do field primary.
It's super
heraldry.
period.
It's really sexy.
Yeah, it is. And every time I go do conflict checking, I have to pull the rules up again and read that paragraph again. And like, okay, this and this and this. Okay, so it's really just like 3 steps, but it's not things we use all the time.
Yeah, it's we just have to refresh ourselves every now and then.
I also have a field primary badge, which I never use. I should probably release it. Per pale, sable and argent, a bordure per pale, argent and azure.
Nice.
if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
It's my old device, which is the same thing but with a lacy knot
Mm.
on it. But the lacy knot is an incredible pain in the ass to draw, so I never used it.
How about that?
Yes,
Yeah.
sans serif. Yes, thank you, Constantia.
Mhm.
There are a couple of interesting technicalities, such as if you have a peripheral ordinary, it doesn't count as a primary charge, and is therefore
Still field primary.
still field primary, which actually makes it easier to find an open space in the registrations for. Most of the time.
Yeah. So, as a matter of fact, with the exception of this one, the entire bottom half of this page is field primary
Because the flaunches
are peripheral.
Yep. I actually found a conflict check that was unexpected that way once, because there's some weirdness with peripheral ordinaries sometimes.
Yeah. Let's see. So we've got the ordinaries.
Mhm.
We've got some simple geometric charges. Ta-da!
And the Delph,
And the and the Delph, which isn't on there.
but it's on here. And as Kate's design shows, you can mix the other ideas.
With partitioned fields.
And Kate, are you still working on the? We could probably use them just green and white.
It's fair. I was trying to make them look more obviously the same as the thing that they were, the other thing. But sure, you could just use them as is if you need this paper now. I got
Yes,
one
please.
half done, so it's 3 colors. That makes it extra fun.
Hey, that's actually pretty fun.
How do you blazon that? Let's see. Quarterly, or and vert. A what is that?
Paul.
Paul.
It's a Paul counterchanged vert and argent.
Yeah, I like it. That is almost certainly clear.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised if there were a conflict for that.
And all you need is a ruler.
Yeah.
Literally all you need.
Most of these things, of course, won't be passable as is because they're a little bit too simple. But you can then do things with color, change up what the background is, change up what the charge itself is. Like if you take this bend and make it 2 colors, that's real likely to get enough differences. And also, it's a fairly period thing to divide the charge. In the SCA, we divide the field a lot, but we don't divide the charges a lot unless the field's also divided in the counterchange.
Yep. But having a I've actually got some sketches with from a consultation that I did a little while back with some multicolored charges. Specifically, these are all a wolf statant, but look what you can do. You can have it paley, you can have it checky, you can have it half and half. There's a bunch of other options as well, but that's you can have a lot of fun with multicolored charges.
And still have something that is fairly simple. Yeah. Well, does anyone have anything that they want to talk about? Some a device they are interested in, some kind of heraldic trivia, anything?
Let's wait for them to catch up.
Yeah, it does take a few seconds. I think everyone that's watching right now is actually a herald already.
You may be right. But this is still handy for, when you're consulting with people. Especially if somebody brings up the concern, but I can't draw.
Yeah, which is one of the basically the 2 most common things I hear is I can't have the thing I want because there's too many of them, which is almost always untrue unless they're really picky about what colors they want.
Yeah, if you're flexible, you're much more likely to be able to.
And the other one is, but I can't draw.
Mhm.
And the solution for that is the things that we've been talking about.
Mhm.
A solution for that, anyway. There are others.
Yes.
Reading your paper.
Let's see. Oh, we can also talk about some of the variations on on these. So we've got here the roundel. It is a circle that is completely filled in. There's also the annulet, which is a circle that is not completely filled in. It's just the outline. It's a ring. You can do the same thing with a lozenge. If you have a lozenge that is hollow, that is
Rooster shape?
no, the rooster's when it's pierced with a circle.
Oh, that's right.
Lozenge I had up at one point. Massel.
Right. MASCLE. Yeah. And then
Let's see. We talked about the delf, which is related to the billet. Mullets default to 5 points, but you're not limited to 5-point mullets.
there are some weirdnesses about mullets, but yeah, whatever.
But you can have 4-pointed. You can have 6-pointed. You can have 7-pointed. You can have 8-pointed. More than that, and it starts getting into sun territory.
8 already conflicts with sun. They did finally move stars and suns into the same category in the database, which is nice because they are pretty similar.
Yeah. Let's see. Crescents, which is this one here. So that is a crescent in its default position, but you can also have it facing horns down, horns to the left, or horns to the right if you want more of a crescent moon shape.
Oh, that's neat.
Hmm.
Or a Dexter Tierce a Chief Sable. A Tierce is just a third of the field, and a Dexter Tierce is on the right side from the point of view of a person holding the shield to the left of the viewer. So yeah, cool. A Dexter Tierce, ghouls, and a Chief Sable.
Tierce around here somewhere. I think it's over there.
Ah, yes, that's a Tierce.
Tierce.
Yep. Neat. That's a cool combination.
Okay.
So what was that? The blue sheet was mostly.
The blue sheet is peripheral ordinaries. So. Yep.
That's an extremely valid reason. There's also crosses, which are super easy to draw.
Yep.
But are an actual. Well, it can be a charge. There's cross has charge, and then there's cross.
Cross throughout.
Cross throughout, right? And also extremely common historically. Obviously, the symbology is.
Yeah, shockingly, there are lots of variations on the cross, and they're very commonly used. I say shockingly. It's not shocking. The period in which we do a lot of our recreation, especially in Europe, was super, super Christian.
Also kind of overlaps with the Crusades.
Yeah.
Where they really wanted to shove it in the face of everyone that they were killing, which, sometimes they were Christian, sometimes they weren't. Yeah. Good job, guys. Anyway. So yeah, lots of options for heraldry that only takes a ruler.
Well, let's see. Does anybody want to design a new badge? We'll give you a little bit to catch up.
quick. Somebody share screen and do a walkthrough of how to submit a badge digitally,
it'll-
and just submit mine.
It'll vary by it'll vary by kingdom
kingdom.
enough that it's not a super useful thing.
I mean, technically, this is the West Kingdom event.
Yes,
Yes, but we have at least one person from out of kingdom watching.
So all right.
it's true, but it is technically a Western event.
Mm-hmm.
You're sure you don't want to submit my badges for me? So I don't have to do it later.
I can't share the screen because there are absolutely zero controls at all on
That's
the
right,
YouTube
will
stream.
do that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the camera is what I get apparently.
We.
Oh,
Yay. Cormac says you're not allowed a badge.
Oh, I'm betting Constantia is not allowed to have more badges because do you have too many already?
I mean, you can
Or
just
do you have too many but haven't actually hit your limit? Oh, you've got 3?
yeah, there's still
You've
plenty
got
of room.
plenty of space.
Also, like they're considering upping the limit.
To 10.
There's 2 kinds of people in the SCA. People who haven't registered their heraldry yet, and people who are never done registering their heraldry.
That was
Yeah.
actually the discussion on that item was who it would affect.
Mm.
There's very few people who have hit the limit. So the question was, is this necessary? And like, is it solving a problem? Yes. I also have that problem. I have an alternate name and a couple of pieces of armory that I don't use. So
See,
I should
I
get
have
rid of them.
I have my device, and I have 2 badges. One is admittedly a joke badge because I wanted a party fowl, so I have a chicken per pail. But the other one, which is a fieldless blue music note, which is taken from my device, is what I use to mark my stuff. So I use that one.
The alternate name was a joke, and it was Cormac's joke, but he was out of name submission slots, and I liked it. And then a guy, I showed up at a tournament, and I went to sign in on the list in Kaid, and there was somebody using that name. I'm like, who the hell's using my name? And then I tried to transfer it to him, but he disappeared.
Mm.
Yeah, I never could get the paperwork done. So
Stealing coins.
yeah, don't knock over that table.
No, that would be terrible. We have a table covered in miniatures. We don't want those all over the floor.
Brid, the discussion about that many badges was there's a couple of people who do test case registrations, and they are running into the limit. There's 2 people I can think of offhand, but they actually have several pieces of armory that they use for a couple of different reasons, but then they also have to cycle through test cases, and it's kind of a pain for them. So there is an edge case where having more pieces of armory would be useful, and it doesn't look like anyone's really abusing the armorial system, unless you count what Hannah does as abusing it.
I mean, let's see.
For instance, one of them was Hannah forcing Laurel's hand on one of the issues of offense. For the other person, he does a lot of Egyptian research. So he will throw a test case up with a bunch of documentation to set a precedent that you can do this particular thing. So they're mostly academic edge cases that it's pretty hard for Wreath to just out of nowhere say, I'm going to do this thing. But if you submit something, then they have to rule on it. And then therefore they have somewhere to come from, so that it's not that meme where it's everyone blank
Mm-hmm.
and then something.
Yep. Well, let's see. What else shall we talk about? We've done.
Dispensations. I like it.
Thank you, Brid.
Yes.
Maybe they need to buy dispensations.
We once had an idea that if we found a really cool, good period design that was clear, we could register it and offer to transfer it if someone. Yeah, that's an idea. But actually, as I found out, transferring something turns out to be non-trivial
Mm-hmm.
because, like, I filled out the paperwork twice, and the other guy never filled out his end of it.
Yeah.
So the name never got transferred, and I've still got it. And do you have to pay again? Do you have to pay once for
transfer?
the registration? Do you have to pay for the transfer? I'm not sure.
I am not sure. I think transfers may be free. It also might vary by kingdom. I would have to ask Edith.
Oh, Constantia says no, at least where she is. It's administrative. Okay, that's cool.
Okay.
That is good
So
to know.
it has been, the badge has been paid for.
It's
just transferring to
Okay.
somebody else.
That's good to know.
Excellent.
Yeah. We on the idea, we do occasionally have someone on the SCA Heraldry chat put up designs that are free.
Yes. He'll do a 3 Things Thursday, which is really cool.
And Bruce does the little used
Mhm.
devices, little used badges, little used charges. That's the word.
Yes.
Third try.
Have some more cider.
Instead of registering, you could probably just fill out the paperwork and leave all of the name and signature fields blank. Just ready to go for an equivalent
Mhm.
effect.
Which would probably work for something like Great Western or Penzic.
Mm-hmm.
But
But you've got to
for-
keep an eye. You'd
Yeah.
have to periodically reconflict check it just to make sure it's still clear before you tell somebody that it's clear.
I think y'all should make some really amazing, like, good heraldry and just put it into, like, the auctions.
Auction
Oh.
it off.
Yeah,
Auction heraldry.
I like
Mhm.
it. Uh-huh. Reminds me, I should actually get a couple of submissions done for other people.
Mm-hmm.
But the name forms actually require a signature, don't they?
No.
I know the device forms don't, but the name forms don't now either.
Mm-mm.
Cool. I'll just register that name for the guy.
I mean,
We consulted about it.
okay.
Although there is a historical case of the society heraldic community registering a device in someone's name that against his will. If Bruce was on this call, he would know the story. It was a joke, and I think it was mostly taken well. What is a 4-lobed quadrate cornice?
Oh, it looks sort of like the cross between a square and a quatrefoil, actually. So it's got 4 corners and then 4 lobes.
Weird.
I was adding your thing to here. Have a scratch paper to draw on.
Yeah.
See.
It might be the Baldwin story. I know there's a song about the Baldwin badge, isn't there?
That I do not know.
That might be the one I'm thinking of. My memory is very poor, so I don't know.
Well, that's a lot of stuff that I just don't know.
I had the great fortune of having Bruce at the local meetings when I was a herald in Caid.
Mhm.
It was nice.
Okay, let's see. Well, we're halfway through.
I mean, we could also stop early if we
We
run out of
could.
things to talk about.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions that they would like us to answer?
Anything heraldic related. Oh, the song came first. That's pretty funny. This is a set of seraph wings or then conjoined to a four-lobed quadrate cornice. I think I remember seeing that one. So like Shimon, anything that you want to ask about from down in Tarnmist? Anything like any heraldic issues that that you have because you guys are kind of out at the edge of things? Sable mullety of 6 or inflamed. I am somewhat concerned that you would have trouble making inflamed mullety identifiable.
Yeah. Yeah, because at that scale, the flames would be minuscule.
Yeah. Because the minimum number of mullets you need is what, about 9? Or can you have as few as 7?
I think it's 6 and up.
Okay. A single mullet. Oh, just a mullet. Okay, I see. Then the Y was stray. Yeah, that's fine. Just without the Y.
Okay, so sable, a mullet inflamed.
A mullet of 6
A
or
mullet of 6
inflamed.
or inflamed.
Presumably
Inflamed proper?
Presumably proper. Or ghouls.
I mean, I wouldn't do just ghouls
You
if it's on
can't.
sable.
You're right. It would have to be proper. Yes.
Well, let's see.
All right. Well,
Is that doable?
Let's look at the database over here. Let's see. So I need to look at mullets. And then how does the inflaming count for conflict? I'm actually not really sure.
Star 1, primary, origin.
What was the field?
Sable.
Field sable.
You can also just type capital S.
I know you can, but it doesn't make sense to my brain.
Ah.
And then what do I do with the inflaming?
I mean,
It appears that it's frequently not part of the database. Yeah, there is no entry in the database for.
I mean, it might be under flame.
inflamed.
Might be under flame.
It's well. Let's see.
On the other hand, flames are frequently part of.
So here's a
something.
separate fire and flame. So, hey, that's a Lael. A Lael horse friend has Profess Azure and Argent, a war wagon counterchanged and inflamed to Sinister Chief proper. So I guess in that case, the flaming is big enough to be its own thing. It's listed as maintained. But it appears that things that are
Just
inflamed otherwise, like I guess the inflaming is part of a salamander and part of a candle.
And part of a grenade or a fireball.
Mm-hmm.
Which, can I just say how much I love that fireball is an option?
Totally is. Here's a sheep inflamed.
Wow.
And that one does not have the flames marked as anything in the database,
Okay.
which says to me that it's not counted for conflict. Because if it were, it would have to have an entry in the database.
That's true. Well, in that case, that depends entirely on whether Sable, a mullet of 6 points ardent,
Yeah,
is
that's
clear.
That it's not though. I think you see a doctor about the inflamed. Yes, thanks. Thanks. The Let's see what Anstiora has.
But we're looking at a white star, not a black star.
You're right. It's the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, let's look at what we've got. Let me mess with my scoring system a little bit. And
well, there are 59 people with Sable and
I could cut
one
this down a
white
little bit
star.
by adding another.
Soul Primary alone.
Yay for the complex search form. If I could share my screen, I would. Okay, so Sable and Mullet with 4 points, voided Argent. So that's
Number of points.
and
'Cause
4 to 6 is yes,
is the
and
difference.
the voiding isn't it that the same as charging it with another of itself for conflict? Yerick the Inert.
Huh.
Wow.
There's a
1981. Show me armory descriptions. Let's see how that's categorized. Yeah, no, that's going to be a conflict. Unless it's miscategorized, that's going to be one difference for changing the number of points on the star. But
but voided versus filled in
doesn't say anything about it.
It's also from 81.
It's true. It might just be in the database wrong. Well,
let's see. There's a Paul on that one. There's
I don't even know what's going on in the Three Hills there. There's a Warlock from 1973. Starhelm Warlock. Is that Heraldicon? November of 73?
I don't remember.
Or was that August of 70 something? I
don't
forget.
know. It was somewhere in the early 70s.
Yes. For those of you who don't know that story, Heraldicon was when there was a huge backlog of submissions because the heraldic authorities had life happen for kind of a long time and didn't actually get around to doing any of the paperwork. So they got a bunch of people together and they did a weekend-long bender of heraldic decisions. And there was some weird shit.
Stuff. Let's see. That one has a wolf's head. That one has bees. That one has a goshawk.
Let's see.
Sons and mullets conflict.
Yeah, so the mullet inflamed conflicts with the mullet voided, is what I'm hearing.
Oh, Heraldicon might have been 78, Maxon says.
It was earlier than that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Huh.
What? All right. Shows what I know.
Keen's memory wins again.
I'm wrong.
Yep.
Yeah. It happens all the time. I'm used to it.
Story of our lives.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Kate.
Take the trash in? I remember taking the trash in, but it's still out by the curb somehow.
I don't have that problem. The trash is just always there when I leave the house 2 days later. Anyway, so the answer on that is we think it conflicts with a dude from 73.
Mm-hmm.
Or 81. Sorry, that one was 81.
Yep.
Which unfortunately means that we are almost certainly not going to get permission to conflict with it.
Because it is entirely...
I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah.
He probably hasn't played for 30 years.
Mm-hmm. Which is unfortunate. But when you're dealing with old registrations that you're conflicting against, sometimes it's possible to track the person down,
And
but a lot of the time it's not.
most of the time, people are pretty good about granting
Permission to
conflict. Every now and then you run into a little bit of trouble with it, but normally the only issue is figuring out who that person is.
And where they are now.
Mm-hmm.
Where are they now?
Yeah, I should do a heraldic will.
Oof, yeah. So, Keen, what's a heraldic will?
A heraldic will is instructions for what to do with your heraldic registrations when you die. Just like a normal will is for what to do with everything else when you die. Don't put your heraldic will in your normal will, you'll just confuse people. Although, honestly, it wouldn't be a horrible thing to do. I presume the SCA will take the request from a legal will.
Presumably.
If someone bothers to tell them. Yeah, I'll type out this name. If you want to go see if you can figure out who this person is, you're the inert. There's no way this guy is still around. Also, that name is so unregisterable now.
Yeah, but
The
it's
inert.
fun.
Now I want to know how recent inert is. But I don't have a copy of the OED.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I don't think there's one in the box in the garage.
No, there isn't.
No.
It would weigh more.
It would weigh a lot more.
The Califia library, when I was Califian Herald, had one of the condensed copies of the OED, the kind that comes with a magnifying glass.
Ooh, yeah.
And, man, I loved having that thing around. It was just great. But no, I don't think you've got a copy.
No, probably not. I just had a thought. I've done a couple of consultations in the last year or so where it was named consultations where the submitter desired a gender neutral name.
Okay.
How do we deal with that? There are a couple of possibilities, but
depending on what the name is, it won't matter. But depending on, like, if it's Norse, the name, if you want to have like a patronymic or a matronymic, it has to be gendered. There's any way around that.
The descriptives are gendered also.
The descriptives are normally gendered also. A lot of languages are just gendered. But there's a lot of names that are not. Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
That was to Brid.
Yes.
Yes, Latin and Greek are both heavily gendered.
Which means all the Romance languages are.
Mainly English isn't. And I think German is mostly not. I don't remember well enough.
It depends on whether you're using articles, I think. I don't know. I don't speak German.
Normally, the SCA doesn't register abbreviations, but who knows? Who knows what they were thinking? There's also some interesting cases where names that we think of as gender neutral now weren't then, like Robin and Ashley.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. German is gendered. I haven't studied German since 1999.
So one thing that I've found for getting a truly gender neutral name is going 16th century English and
registering two last names.
And registering two last names.
I believe Japanese also will work. There are a number of Japanese names that are truly gender neutral, or that like they can be used by anyone.
You know what? I think there's actually going to be a class on that at Known World this year, which is one of the classes that I'm planning to attend.
And it's virtual, so everyone
It
can
is
attend.
virtual, so everyone can attend. Yes. So, Known World Heralds and Scribes Symposium is coming up in less than a month now, or about a month. I'll have to double check the dates. But it's virtual, and if you, it is pre-reg, but the deadline for that, because it's virtual, is I think July 3rd. But there's going to be some really cool classes offered, and since it's not physically in Lockhawk, that means it's accessible for anyone with an internet connection, really.
Constantia, do we actually have resources for subcontinental Indian things? It's a question that I have had, but have never actually gotten around to looking up. We have a substantial Indian population in the Bay Area, and I have wondered very few. There should be documentation. I mean, their culture's been around, various cultures have been around forever.
Right. It's just a matter of somebody writing it up.
Yeah. Probably just
in English.
Just an English blind spot, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. We have a lot of those.
Oh, do we ever.
Like, I don't even know if the Indian subcontinent did heraldry as we would recognize it. I have no idea. But I would like to know.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone have anything to talk about? Save us. Save us.
All right. Well,
Figure out our household badge.
Which household?
The one that we're going to have a meeting with tomorrow night, our actual household.
Oh, do we need a badge?
We were talking about registering something and like never getting around to actually submitting it.
Oh, I don't remember this conversation.
Oh, yeah, we talked about it the last time we had a
Ooh.
household meeting.
And Constantia says, design me a badge. Make Cormac scream.
Cormac's retiring soon.
I already retired.
No, not quite yet.
But by the time it gets through, he'll be
Yeah.
his tenure will be over, and his successor will have
So
taken it.
if I had a free like 10 or 20 hours, I really want to input all of the devices listed on Mistholm into a spreadsheet, and then use it to make a random device generator. But that would require some time that I have frittered away doing other things. Yes, Helga does need to register the wolves. I should poke her and make her actually submit the wolves. They are super cool.
Yeah. Okay. But we could design a badge for Constantia.
Okay. Where do we start?
Well, let's see. Do we have a preferred color scheme? Do you want to do something that can be drawn with a ruler, since that is the theme?
We could use a chief pale. Do you want a chief pale?
We could do okay. Blue, white, and black. How about a multicolored chief pale?
I like it.
Okay, so I'm thinking, blue, white, and black.
Do you think Cormac would crucify us if we submitted one that was divided like per bend? A chief pale per bend something? Because that would look really weird.
Yes, it
Like that.
would. Per saltier.
For Saltier?
Yep.
Okay. It would be a little easier to tell what's going on.
Hey, per saltier chief pale. I like it.
Yep.
Okay.
So
So-
you'll get just little tips of the.
So how about like Argent, a chief pale per Saltier, Azure, and Sable?
I think it would be funnier to do it with the argent or with the.
Registered
Partially.
Cormac.
down. We just need Cormac's information.
I can get that, I'm pretty sure.
And then submit it through on tier. He'll never notice.
No, I can do that. I've got people on tier.
Yeah, he'll never notice.
Yeah. We probably shouldn't release one of his badges in order to make room. So, yeah.
Keeping your badges at maximum is a defensive tactic. Here, I see.
So, Constantia, did you want a chief pale per pale or a chief pale per saltier? Let me look at the list of chief pales again. Transfer one. Oh man.
I suppose it's just as well Cormac's not watching this one.
That's what he gets for not signing on. This is a pretty easy conflict check. Oh no, we do have to check against pales as well.
We do have to check against pales. Pales per pale. But
A trimount cooped within an oral of 2 vines entwined ferret, and that shows up. Oh no, I see what's going on. It's an artifact of caching. Okay, there we go. That's better.
Ta-da!
So a chief pale per saltier ends up being like 90% on one field with just little edges.
Yeah, it's got the little corners and the little indent triangles. Yep.
Yes, it's as obnoxious as possible is what that is.
So So it should be. So the majority of the chief pale should be argent.
Right. Which makes, if you counterchange it, if that's argent, and then that's...
It still needs to be recognizable, so you have some contrast
so
issues,
it's argent.
potentially.
Argent, sable, and azure?
Yes.
Yeah, argent, sable, and azure. So we've
And
got
we
the
want
sable.
chief pale itself argent.
Majority argent.
We do?
The chief pale itself, we were looking at doing per saltier argent and.
Okay. All right.
Do you want the field also?
No, I think the field should stay solid.
So does the chief pale work like a chief, though, where the saltier points would come out of the bottom of the chief area?
Well, it's got the pale on it, too.
Right? It's confusing.
So I'm thinking...
So, did you draw the same thing?
Yeah.
Which is this. So your problem is that if you just do this argent and something else, if you don't also counterchange the field, you have to do or, because your field is going to be a color and you end up losing the chunks that you make a color into the
especially
field.
since it's blue and black.
Yeah.
But
If you made the chief pale azure and sable, then it would be low contrast with itself.
Yeah.
But I think it would be registerable.
Meanwhile, I think
Actually, I'm
if
not
you
really sure.
counterchange it, I could probably come up with a way to counterchange that so that they're not actually touching each other.
Oh yeah, no, put it on the square form. That's true. It needs to be on the square
Oh,
form.
right. Yes.
Oh, for
Because badges are submitted on square forms.
Yep. Sketchy, 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 sketchy.
Notice I'm not doing any of the drawing.
And I'm not even doing this with a ruler. Shh, don't tell Keen.
I stole the ruler.
I have another one over here.
Really, all you need is a straight edge for most of these.
Okay, so how do we get this counter changed in white, blue, and black so that none of the bits touch each other?
Counterchange it just white and black, and then change half of the black to blue. Maybe?
Which is the same as the same idea as my badge, actually. I don't even know what I can't. I literally can't picture what those colors are supposed to look like. Do you have the markers?
I have the markers.
I'm just gonna scribble.
Okay.
Okay, so we want this white, which means this is blue, this is black, that's black, that's blue, this is white, that's blue, that's black. Okay.
Okay. And the field is Azure.
The field is per
Oh
saltier.
Jesus. Okay.
Uh-huh. So the entire thing is counterchanged over per saltier.
So which bits are you doing black and which bits am I doing?
Okay. So it's per saltier. What?
Per saltier, we do top first, right?
Mhm.
Per saltier is sable and argent. A chief pale, counterchanged, argent and azure.
Okay, and that
Okay, so I think
counts
that's what I'm
as
markering up over
Mhm.
here.
counts as a pale, but it is going to get a difference. So it's
Mhm.
pale multicolor.
Yes.
So that's essentially what I'm markering up over here also,
Mm-hmm.
I think, if I've understood you correctly.
I think that's probably what I'm going to get from
Mhm.
that.
You just end up with a bunch of colorful triangles that happen to outline.
Yes.
Is it like, is it recognizable at all? I'm not sure it is. Why have I got? Oh, I see what's going on. Okay, never mind. That message
Well,
is
we'll
unrelated.
find out. We'll draw this up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Complex search form. Party of 6, ermine and purpure is listed in. Oh, because pales, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah,
I
I'm only
thought
getting
you
a
called
score.
out like the next
2.
people for a restaurant reservation. Jesus.
Party of 6, yeah. Donner, party of 15. Donner, party of 14. Donner, party of 13. Yep. Okay, so
Sable, party of 6. Sable, party of 6. Actually, sable argent, party of 6.
party of 300. Do you have a reservation in hell?
There we go. Yes.
What
that.
the fuck?
That.
That is ridiculous.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it.
That is utterly ludicrous. And I like it, I think. I'm not really sure.
Not sure how feel.
That might fall under your thanks I hate it. I'm not yeah. Yeah, no, you should totally send that up and see what happens. Take an obscure charge, make it hard to identify, and then watch the heralds melt down. It's a fun game.
Do you want a maximum allowed badges count? Because this is how you get a maximum allowed badges count.
We have one already.
Yeah, and there's nothing even close for conflict. Like
Excellent.
just there's nothing anywhere close to this.
Ooh. Jean of Wadark has a really nice one, though.
Where are we looking?
Per pale argent saleable pale checky ghouls and ore. I think that's very pretty.
Yeah, that's nice.
I approve of multicolored ordinaries. Hey, that's a thing you can do with just a ruler.
Multicolored ordinaries.
Multicolored ordinaries.
Totally is.
Make it checky. Make it lozengey. Make it paley. Make it barry. Make it bendy. Make it bendy barry. Pew pew.
All right, well, we've got like 10 minutes left if anyone has something else to talk about.
Pew pew.
Are those herald guns?
Awkward bisexual kind of guns.
Oh,
or
okay.
finger guns. Yes.
Handguns are, I believe, totally a registerable charge.
Ooh.
Let me look.
Ooh, no, you know what it is? It's lasers. Thank you, Constantia.
Yeah.
Lasers.
Let's see.
Arquebus.
Arquebus and pistol are accepted.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Cannon.
any type of gun is acceptable in society armory, so long as it was known in period. Matchlock, wheellock,
mhm.
flintlock.
So if you were going to do Bendibari, how many colors can you do Bendibari? Like 3?
I would just, if it was Bendibari, I would just do 2. But that's, I don't know how many you can do. That's just what I would do. We've got to,
Yeah, I'm gonna mute that.
yeah, you should mute that.
Mute that site for a little bit. That is Constantia sending us the Beastie Boys April 1st LAR, which I will look at later.
All right. So, success. We have a hilarious badge for Constantia, or possibly to be foisted off on Cormac. We'll see. Either way, I approve.
I've known Cormac a very long time, by the way. He started after I did because he's younger than I am, but both in Kaid.
I think actually Cormac and I started right around the same time. Didn't know each other.
Right, because he was in Kaid.
He was in Kaid, and I was at the northern end of the contiguous West Kingdom.
I'm trying to remember which college he was at. It only briefly existed. Yes, that's right. Noe College. Where mundanely it was like somewhere in LA, I think.
I mean, there's a Noe Valley, isn't there?
I don't know. I don't remember. I was way down south in Calafia. He was somewhere north of that, but that's everywhere.
I mean, it's not.
I guess
Lockhart is south.
Western Seas is a more southern part of Kaid. It's yes, but if you're just looking at Kaid, and South Rangard at the time was a more southern part of Kaid before it was ceded to Lockhook when Lockhook became a kingdom.
Before it Lockhooked.
Yes,
that is now a verb. I'm not sure what it means. Probably meaning to become part of Lockhook.
Probably. Seems likely. Well, at any rate, thank you. Hey, our viewer count went up. Somebody joined us like an hour into this weird rambling conversation.
And they stayed?
I don't know.
Maybe they have questions.
I mean, we have questions.
Whoever number 6 is there, do you have any like heraldic questions before we turn this thing off? All right.
Going once. Going twice. Sold for 3 submissions.
Well, thank you all for joining us for a relatively sober, entirely sober.
Yeah, this was entirely
version
sober.
of.
You had a cider. You had part of a cider. I had
Ciders
water.
don't contain alcohol.
That's a hard cider.
Yeah, how much of that I would have to get drink before I actually felt it?
No.
At least half a gallon.
Jesus.
All right. So thank you everybody for joining us on this strange little trip through heraldry for people who can't draw.
Like me. And I still didn't draw.
No, you didn't.
Good job, Keane.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody. See you later.
Good night.
End stream. End.